Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Duality 7X. I'm your host, Sheeraz, and today we're going to be talking, and we're actually going to be featuring some of the main matches that are going to happen at UFC 321. All of this is happening on Saturday, October 25th. The location is Etihad Arena, Yas Island in the United Arab Emirates. The start time is going to be 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the main card, and you can watch all of this, guys, on ESPN and pay-per-view. So, let's get into it. I'm not going to cover every single fight. I will kind of give a rundown of all the fights that are happening, but I do want to highlight some of the featured fights that are happening on the main card. I feel a little guilty, guys, because I'm always preaching about how amazing and explosive the prelims are, but because of time restrictions, today we're just going to feature some of the fights, some of the matches that are happening on the main card. All right, so I'm going to try to give you my honest takes and my perspective, I guess, on some of these matches. And there's a lot to unpack. So let's get started with the big one. Let's talk about Tom Aspinall, the official undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world. He's going to be taking on Ciryl Gane. Now, Ciryl Gane's the number one contender to this belt. You have to understand, though, there's a lot. Ciryl Gane's a seasoned fighter. He's been around the block. He knows what's up, but he's also 35 years old. But we'll talk a little bit about this, and we'll talk maybe some odds as well too. But just think about this, guys. Jon Jones, when he vacated, right, instead of unifying the titles, right, Aspinall himself finally got what he deserved. Full recognition as the rightful heir, the rightful owner and ruler of the heavyweight division. Now, some are going to argue that. Some are going to come back and say, Tom Aspinall hasn't done anything. He's not at the same level of Jon Jones. Or he's not, say, an Alex Pereira. Or he's not a Ciryl Gane. I mean, guys, there's a lot of amazing fighters in this division. Okay, and Tom Aspinall is just one of those guys who's proven himself. And, his record shouldn't be in doubt. It shouldn't be questionable. This guy is a serious fighter. And I think he's going to represent the heavyweight division just fine. I don't have any concerns or issues with that. I feel that this fight against Ciryl Gane is going to be monumental, not only for him, but it's also important for Ciryl as well too. As I mentioned before, Ciryl, even at the age of 35, the guy has a 13-2-0 record in the UFC, and he's a big boy. I mean, he's almost as tall as Aspinall. He's coming in at 6'4". Aspinall's coming in at 6'5". 245 pounds. He's actually going to be 10 pounds leaner. I say leaner than Tom Aspinall. But his reach, he has a 3-inch longer reach than Aspinall, 81 inches compared to 78. That can make a difference in a lot of cases, guys. And his leg reach is 42 inches, slightly shorter than Tom Aspinall. So I think this is good. I'm really excited about this one. I know this is going to be the fight that everybody probably wants to see. Anytime you get a chance to watch heavyweights go at it, it's definitely pure excitement. All right, so Aspinall, I mean, he's got a lot of speed, he's got power, he's got precision. I mean, this guy's a very well-rounded fighter. All right, there's one thing I can tell you about watching heavyweights fight, especially in this day and age. It's a lot different than watching heavyweight fighters or guys fighting in the heavyweight division, say like 20-25 years ago. Huge difference. I feel that the fighters now are a lot more sleeker. They're more faster. Even when you see a guy like Tyson Fury, right? Tyson Fury, heavyweight boxer, former heavyweight champion. He was so light on his feet, for being such a tall and big guy. He would dance around that ring like he would run circles around people. Even with his size and age, it was absolutely incredible to watch. So Tom Aspinall is very unique. He's lean, he's mean, and he's not slow. He's not your typical heavyweight fighter, right? So he's basically rewritten what the modern heavyweight division looks like, and he's finished all of his opponents that he's faced in the UFC. His one only loss was that freaking leg injury that he suffered against Blades, which he later avenged in brutal, decisive fashion. So, guys, you don't want to miss out on this one. Of course, like I said, there's always going to be people on the other side of the fence who are going to argue whether Tom Aspinall is as good as he is. I mean, I think he's done enough to prove himself. But the big question mark, I guess, is he's never really been past round 2. He's never really been tested in the deeper rounds, right? And those, I'm telling you, that the deeper you go in the rounds, the harder it is. It's kind of like navigating through really heavy seawater, right? If you've ever been in the ocean, you know how thick that water can be. It's not like swimming in a pool where for the water for the most part is filtered and this and that. Swimming in an ocean is a completely different animal. This, for anyone who's actually swam in the ocean, will be able to attest and understand what I'm talking about. But this is a whole different animal, guys. And when you start getting into the later rounds, that's when the lactic acid starts to build up in your arms, your legs. You start to get a little bit slower, and people tend to make mistakes. And the one thing that Aspinall doesn't want to do, especially against a guy like Ciryl Gane, is make mistakes. Because Ciryl will pounce on you like a panther. He'll capitalize. He's an opportunist. And if he smells blood, he's all over it, and that's it. He'll go in for the quick win, and that's it. Game, set, match, guys. So how does a guy like Aspinall handle the grind when his adrenaline starts to fade away, right? And that's what Gane, I'm sure Ciryl Gane is trying to figure out right now as we speak. So you also have to look at Ciryl Gane's striking ability. You know, he's a great fighter. He had some unbelievable matches with some superb striking skills. The question that everybody is asking is, Ciryl still an elite fighter? He's a great fighter, but is he an elite fighter? Right? So after seeing him being exposed by Ngannou and even Jones himself, you know, the blueprint's kind of out there. People have studied it, especially, I'm sure, Tom Aspinall has studied his past few matches very, very meticulously with a fine comb, and he's probably mapped out his strategy against Ciryl Gane. The unfortunate thing is when you fight guys like Francis Ngannou and Jon Jones and some of these elite fighters, and you know your skills get exposed pretty through like a magnifying glass. So I mean it's public knowledge, guys. His takedown defense has been pretty shaky. I mean, at this point, you know, if he still hasn't shown major improvement, I mean, this could really be his last shot for UFC gold. Right? So my opinion is Aspinall has got the edge. He's got that killer instinct. He's got more to prove. Not saying Ciryl Gane doesn't, but I feel that Aspinall's going to take this one, and with his cool, calm composure, his collected manner and demeanor, I mean, it really reminds me of Stipe Miocic, and I think, but I think he's sharper, right? And he's not just here to win, guys. I mean, guys like Tom Aspinall, he's here to dominate, and I think he's going to do that, and he's going to do it with unbelievable fashion. It's going to be a slobber knocker, guys. It's going to be one for the ages. You don't want to miss this one. But the other thing too is, on the flip side, right? What if Gane actually survives, the early onslaught and storm that Aspinall's going to try to deliver? And you remember, as I kind of alluded to, Aspinall's one of those guys. He's super aggressive and he's explosive, and he's going to come at you with everything he has within the first round or two. But once it starts getting into the latter rounds, right, that the question is going to come down to, is Aspinall going to be able to have the stamina, the gas, the ability to continue to stay focused and meticulous, especially with the striking and his takedowns. Like, is he still going to have it? Is he going to have brain fog? So who actually favors better when it comes to those when it comes to fighting in the, like, say, round number 4, round number 5, right? And if Jon Jones does decide, like, in the future to potentially come back, if he is seriously interested, because there's been a lot of discussions and rumors about Jon Jones wanting to come back and how he's actually training as we speak, because he wants to get on that UFC White House Fight Night card next spring. And if he does what he does, then that could be a setup for possibly one of the biggest UFC showdowns and biggest heavyweight fight that the UFC has ever showcased. Can you imagine Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones, heavyweight tilt, winner takes all? It would be absolutely beautiful, guys, right? Champion versus legend, essentially. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that breaks the internet. So I'm really, really interested to see kind of what happens. You got England versus France in this one. Absolutely incredible. Another good fight to watch out is the women's strawweight division. It's the fight that's going to see Virna Jandiroba take on Mackenzie Dern, right? You've got Brazil versus the United States here. And both of these fighters, I'm telling you, are evenly matched. Now, ever since Zhang Weili had officially vacated her title, right? And the strawweight division, guys, has been, I'm not going to say the strawweight division is in peril, but it's in suspense. There's been a huge shakeup in the strawweight division, and it's this, I think, for Zhang Weili to wanting to vacate her 115-pound title, her 115 pounds, sorry. So her belt is not actually 115 pounds, but vacating her 115-pound belt, not literally, but you know what I mean, guys. But for her to wanting to do that because she wants to obviously move up and take on Valentina Shevchenko in UFC 322 talks a lot about her ambition, her motivation, her drive, but it also adds a little spark to the entire world of MMA, the UFC, the women's division, and all the fighters that are in this particular division, because each one of those fighters, I'll tell you right now, is very capable and deserving of having a title shot. In this case, you have Jandiroba taking on Dern, and these two are going to fight for that vacated belt. I mean, it's a huge toss-up, guys. Both of them are, they're very evenly matched. Dern does have a lot of marketability, but so does Jandiroba, right? But Dern's got a 15-5-0 record. Jandiroba's got a 22-3-0 record. When it comes to their reach, their leg reach, their weight, and their height and weight, they're pretty much about the same. It's absolutely uncanny how, and I always give kudos and credits to the UFC guys and the promotion, the operations team to be able to put these matches together, because they know exactly what they're doing. I believe, I believe with Zhang out of the picture now and moving on to other better potential opportunities for her in the world of in the UFC, I feel that either of these fighters will be an unbelievable champion. My take, whoever wins this fight will not only become the new face of the strawweight division, but they could be chasing greatness, right? And so, look, if Zhang at 125 pounds beats Shevchenko, right, she herself will probably be going down in history as one of the greatest double champions, right, in the women's MMA history. And either Dern or Jandiroba is quite capable of probably moving up a little bit too and taking on the likes of either Valentina Shevchenko or taking on Zhang Weili. So, no matter what happens, guys, I think there's going to be a lot of drama surrounding these fighters that I just mentioned, and not including all the other fighters within both of these divisions. It's definitely a card that I don't want to miss, and neither should you. Moving on, let's talk about, we also have Volkov versus Almeida. This is gonna be really interesting. And I mean, this is kind of like a redemption story for Volkov. I mean, these Volkov is one of those like guys. Like I think a lot of people forget that Volkov is even around. I mean, this guy, despite his 38-11-0 record, he's one tough SOB. And the thing is, this guy is super tall. I mean, he's like 6'7", 254 pounds. He's got an 80-inch reach advantage and 47.5-inch leg reach. Slightly longer than Jailton Almeida's, but their reach is about the same. And there is a little bit of a difference when it comes to height and weight as well, too. So it's Russia versus Brazil in this one, guys. You know, I just feel from experience and just from talking to people that people tend to, people tend to forget about Volkov. People sleep on him, and it happens, right? I mean, you know, after that controversial split decision loss to Ciryl Gane, Dana White straight up said that Volkov got robbed, right? But he promised to take care of him. And he's doing just that. He's putting him in fights that matter against top-notch contenders, and he doesn't want to waste opportunities. These guys could also pose a big problem for both Gane and Aspinall as well too, because either of these guys is, again, very capable of moving up in the division. If Volkov can keep it standing, he's going to pick apart Almeida. He is going to finally get that title shot that slipped away many, many years back. So I believe he's been overlooked for way too long, but with Jones out, Aspinall on top, this division's never been more open, but he's got to be careful because Ciryl Gane's in his purview, and he's also Cyril's kind of at a point as well too. Although his performance has been subsequently slipping as of late, he doesn't want to be counted out either. Let's talk about Umar Nurmagomedov. All right, of all the fighters that could potentially take out Merab. And you guys know Merab Dvalishvili, this guy's like the Energizer buddy, man. He's the real deal. But if anyone can do it, I believe Umar can. Umar could be the next big thing in the UFC. Sure, you know, he's lost his first fight, but look, don't forget, he broke his hand in round number 1 and still pushed Merab to a close decision. That's how incredible of a fighter this guy is. And he's coming back. He wants to take on the likes of Mario Batista. And this one too, guys, like this is probably one of the most, it's probably going to be one of the most watched bouts for sure on UFC 321 next to Aspinall and Gane. Umar, who's got an 18-1-0 record. He's going to take on Batista with a 16-2-0 record. Essentially, it's Russia versus the United States, guys. Both of these guys are on 5'8", 5'9". They're the same weight at 135 pounds. I'll give the slight reach advantage to Mario Batista, and they're also even when it comes to their leg reach. Both of these guys are absolutely incredible. The odds plus 455 for Mario Batista, and for Umar it's minus 625. A lot of people have got their hedges that Umar is going to take this one. And look, guys, I mean, Umar's like, he's on an 8-fight win streak, and I mean that automatically makes him a huge favorite, right? So if he wins that match, a potential match against him and Merab is probably going to happen. It's almost guaranteed, right? So yes, Nurmagomedov's his skill set is pretty balanced. Striking, wrestling, you know, his fight IQ. He's like a blend of Islam Makhachev and say Dominic Cruz. And if he tightens up that cardio gap, guys, I think he can actually take out the machine. So again, big, bold statements here. But Nurmagomedov, he's definitely somebody to be feared, especially now at bantam. Like for a bantamweight fight, guys, the heavyweight division, the bantamweight division, the light heavyweight. I mean, all of these are absolutely incredible. They're all changing as we speak, guys. It's absolutely incredible. So there's a lot that's going to go down. I'm super excited about it. Let me see if I could just kind of run through some of the other fights. So we talked about Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane, Mackenzie Dern, Verna Jandiroba, Umar Nurmagomedov. He's going to be taking on Mario Batista. And then we've also got, and we already featured Almeida versus Volkov. That's going to be a great one. And guys, I mean, don't forget that one, right? We've already got 2 heavyweights just in those 2 right there. And then we've got Nasrat Haqparast. He's going to be taking on Kielan Sakilid, and in a middleweight division bout, we've got Ikram Askarov, and Askarov, he's going to be taking on Junyoung Park. This one as well too. This is like one of the prelim fights that I've got an eye out as well too. For a middleweight bout, this is going to be a great fight, guys. I'm really excited to see what Iskaram brings to the table. I've heard a lot of great things about him. The odds are minus 245 against him. Junyoung Park is at plus 200. And then we got Ludwig Klein, taking on Mateus Rebecki. That's going to be an interesting one. That's a lightweight fight. And then Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi is going to be taking on Matias Camillo in another lightweight fight. We got Volter Walker versus Louis Sutherland. Jose Delgado versus Nathaniel Wood. Hamidi Abdul Wahib is going to be taking on Chris Barnett. That's also another heavyweight fight, guys. Sorry, we've got Volter Walker, Abdul Wahab. Yeah, you got 4 heavyweight fights on this card, guys. So definitely exciting. Azmat Maksum is going to be taking on Mitch Raposo. This is another good one too. This fight is a prelim fight, but if they could, they'd probably sneak this up into a main card. I'm excited to watch this one. And then you got Jacqueline Almerim versus Mizuki Inui for the women's strawweight fight as well too. I'm sure they've also got their eyes as to who's going to potentially win between Jandiroba and Dern. So all of this is going on. It's going to be happening this Saturday, October 25th at the Etihad Arena at Yas Island and in the United Arab Emirates. And it's all going to be on ESPN and pay-per-view, guys. Remember, the main card will start at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm super excited about this, guys. Lots of great matches. And so if I have to close out with some final thoughts, I mean, we've already established that, you know, Aspinall is proving that he's a real deal, right? And so expect big things from him, but he's against a guy, 35 years old, Ciryl Gane, who doesn't want to walk off into the sunset. He still wants to show and prove to everybody that he still should be name dropped in the mix for some of the big matches that are upcoming. So he's going to do what he can to prove himself and to prove his worth. And you got Zhang Weili, who's vacated her strawweight title, wanting to move up to 125 to take on Valentina Shevchenko and UFC 322. That opens the doors for like Jandiroba and Dern to potentially go, well, not potentially, they're going to go head to head, and one of them is going to come out victorious holding that new crown. And that's exciting, guys. And then Nurmagomedov is a serious fighter. He's got everything going for him, but he's got his eye on a bigger prize. So that said, guys, these are just some of the fights that we're talking about. There's so much to unravel here. I could easily go on for another hour and go in detail and talk about these fights. And as much as I'd love to, guys, actually, I do want to stick around, but I can't. So we're gonna save that for another one. But if you guys enjoyed everything, please, you know, smash the like and subscribe. And you know, we're here. We post daily, guys. So if you like fight talk, then you're definitely at the right place. Predictions, post-fight breakdowns. Discussions about your favorite, you know, combat sports, whether it's boxing, UFC, WWE. We cover it all, guys. We cover it all right here daily. Thank you for watching. And on that note, I will catch you guys on the next one.
Saturday, October 25th. UFC returns to Abu Dhabi for Showdown Week, a 7-day series of citywide events, live shows, and more. Enjoy the world-renowned attractions of Yas Island before taking in UFC 321. Live from Etihad Arena. Don't miss the greatest fan experience in all of combat sports. UFC 321, live in Abu Dhabi.